Hello, World Wide Web. Welcome back to the Hangin With Web Show. I'm GW Pomichter. We are at Space Coast Book Lovers in Cocoa Beach, Florida. We're wrapping it up here. But before we do, we wanted to hang out with author Kevin J. Kessler, the author of the Rosinanti series.
Yes.
All right.
Good job. Most people don't get that right.
I cheated.
I know.
Yeah.
I was trying to make you look good.
Thank you. It is. It's good. They know. See, and if they tune in more than one episode, they're like, "Oh my God, it's that idiot again." But he's talking to cool people, so we'll listen. So, Kevin, thanks for hanging with us.
Oh, thank you very much for having me.
Hey, dragons are hot property these days.
Yeah.
And you're the dragon guy. Look at you.
I try to be. Yeah.
Yes.
This is
Yes.
yeah. This is my friend Ross.
This is Ross.
I got him at Disney's
alien dragon.
Yeah, Disney's Animal Kingdom in the new Avatar World of Pandora. I'm a Disney World nut, so I'm there all the time. I host a Walt Disney World news and information podcast.
Really?
Yep. It's called Two Men and the Mouse. It's a
Two Men and the Mouse.
Yes.
We're gonna put that link down below. So
oh, cool. Yeah.
Check that
Thank
out.
you so much.
Right? And so let's talk about your books first. Then
Absolutely.
we're going to dive into. He does so much. He's creative. Creative people can't be put in a box. We're not just anything.
Right. We're all like Baby in
right.
Dirty Dancing.
There
Nobody puts us in a corner.
Don't put us in a corner. So let's talk about where does this series start?
The series starts with this
Book one. Okay.
Book one, just entitled Rosinanti.
Rosinanti. And so, tell us what inspired this series.
So when I was 15. I started thinking about writing. I mean, I'd always been thinking about writing since I first, read Stuart Little as a kid. It was just kind of like a thing where it kind of sparked to life in my mind that, like, this is what I want to do. I love books, and the Scholastic Book Fair was like the best day of my year, and I wanted to create one. I wanted to write one. I wanted to just kind of give birth to a world in a sense. And so I had a flash. I don't even remember if it was a dream or what it was, but something one day I woke up and I was like, boy who turns into a dragon. Like, I was just kind of like, that's it. Like, that's what I'm thinking. And I remember I told a friend of mine in high school, so sophomore in high school, and I was like, yeah, I'm thinking about this book about this boy that turns into a dragon. And she was just kind of like, oh, well, that's cool. What do you think about calling it? And I was big into theater. Like, we were actually at a rehearsal for a theater performance that we were doing. And I remember I was very into a play called Man of La Mancha at the time. And it was about Don Quixote, and his horse was called Rosinante. And I said...
Which means workhorse.
Which means workhorse, yeah. And so I was just kind of like...
I didn't know that because I don't speak Spanish. But... we're sci-fi geeks.
Yes, we are.
So last year I got the privilege of learning that when we started watching The Expanse.
Yes.
Sci-fi,
Yep.
Which is duh.
So, yes, I kind of played with the word a little bit, and I was like, I'm thinking Rosinanti. Like, just kind of taking it, like, kind of like Americanizing it. And
we made it Southwest.
Yeah.
We didn't get all the way to Mexico.
I'm thinking about calling it Rosinanti. Like, that was kind of how it worked. I was in Jersey, though, so it was probably like, yeah, I'm thinking about calling it Rosinanti.
There you go.
So...
These things happen in Jersey. They do.
Many things happen in Jersey.
Many things that we don't talk about.
We don't need to talk about any of that. But then
we'll get to that later when we do the Google search on him. No.
So we get to, like, right around Christmas time, and she hands me a little package, and I'm like, oh, well, what's this? And, like, I haven't, like, this is just what I'm, like, it's an idea that had sparked in my head. But she hands me this little leather-bound spiral notebook. I open it up, first page, Rosinanti by Kevin J. Kessler. She wrote in calligraphy. And I was like, oh,
and we're off to the races.
And we were off to the races immediately. Like, I remember sitting there.
We have 2 books.
Yeah, we have 2 books and a novella.
And a small. This is a short story novella, which we talked off camera. This ties the 2 together.
Yeah. We start with Rosinanti, then we move on to Rosinanti: The Decimation of Cassid, which is the novella, and then
The Wrath of the Faithful.
Yes, and book 2, The Wrath of the Faithful, just came out about 2 weeks ago. Came out mid-May, and Wrath of the Faithful is the continuation of the story. So
Nice.
all three of them kind of, but it's going to
And
be.
the concept comes from a boy that turns into a dragon.
Yes, that was kind of what first sparked the idea, and
Okay.
then the world kind of formed around that concept. Like they always say that the Ninja Turtles started one day because the creator. I don't even know if this story is true, but they said they were sitting around one day and they were like, turtles who eat pizza. And then, like, it just kind of, like,
Keeps
created
going,
around.
going and going until you have $1 billion franchise.
Exactly. So let's hope that keeps going. But but yeah, like it was.
We need to sell lots of books.
Yes.
Remember.
And
See, being a podcaster and everything else, he got tired of being successful, so he became a writer.
Exactly. So yeah, the world kind of sparked from that one idea, and I don't really plan it out. Like
Not a plotter.
No, like I'm essentially the Joker. I'm a dog chasing cars. I won't know what to do with one when I catch it. But like I kind of am I throwing enough nerd references out before?
Dude, we off camera we determined, the two of us, that since we both live in the nerdverse, that if you can't use a pop culture reference in at least one sentence during a conversation, you shouldn't have had.
It's not a conversation worth having.
Right.
Yeah.
So we're gonna put links down below to these books and to all of Kevin's social media places that we can find you, to the podcast, everything, so people can find you on the web.
I appreciate that.
But because it's YouTube and the World Wide Web likes to move along, we're going to move to the next segment of our show.
Great.
This is the fun segment. I've called this Clickbait.
Okay.
You're a podcaster, you're on the web, Clickbait are those headlines that just take you away
Right.
from what you wanted to be doing.
Exactly.
Well, what I did was we put our own spin on it. It's got a little negative connotation to the term clickbait.
Yeah, absolutely.
So we put our own positive spin on it. I told the girls, go on out, find me tons of unusual, personal, weird, or bizarre questions. We ask our guest, and your answer gives us the super headline that would give us 1 million views and make us all superstars.
Perfect.
If Goofy delivers you a pizza by flying in on the back of a dragon, what kind of pizza are you getting?
We are getting we're getting every kind of cheese.
Every kind of cheese.
Yep.
The cheese lovers deluxe.
Absolutely. We're getting every kind of cheese, we're getting every kind of meat, and we're getting pineapple on it. And it's going to be burnt to a crisp because a dragon brought it.
Dude, awesome pizza. Just cut around the edges because you flew it in on a dragon.
Yeah,
it's going to be burnt.
It's going to be burnt. That's the whole
just
point. I mean,
yeah.
I think if you're flying it in on the dragon, just for the sake of consistency, the dragon should be cooking it as well. Like, who has money for a pizza oven around?
Well, why do you need one?
Exactly.
You have a dragon.
Right?
You have a dragon,
Blaze,
they fly.
with how fast Blaze Pizza cooks their pizza, I really think that they must have a dragon in the back that's just kind of like, and
Probably.
there you go.
Have you ever been, we could go so many places with that. Have you ever been in a food fight? Is where she went with it.
Gosh, food fight. You know what? There was an episode of Mighty Morphin Power Rangers when I was a kid called Food Fight, in which, back in the 90s, it was like, food fights were so common in TV shows and you never see them anymore. And people would just someone would yell, food fight, and then everybody would like,
we were all inspired. Our generation was inspired by Jim Belushi in the 70s.
Exactly. And so like, I was always desperate for a food fight. And like at one point.
That was John Belushi. I screwed that up.
It's okay, you're forgiven.
Thank you.
It's the
it takes a geek to forgive a geek.
So
you can't do it. We have to.
I remember like as a kid in the 90s, I was like so desperate for it. So like I remember one time I actually stood up in the cafeteria and yelled out, "Food fight!" And then nobody did anything, and I got detention.
They just stared at you.
Inciting a food-based riot. Yep.
A food-based riot.
Yep.
That's
but
the
that didn't happen.
That's the food-based riot. That's the official term. I'm going to remember
Culinary riot.
Culinary riot. Yes. I did find out from my children that there are lots of official terms that I've never heard of. For instance, dice. In school, they're number manipulators.
That's weird.
That is really creepy because I don't know any children that can actually pronounce that.
That sounds like something sinister as far as...
Yes, it does.
Yeah.
I think they're trying to, make them not gamble or something. Good luck.
Good luck, yeah, right?
They don't call them that.
I mean, if you're in 5th grade and you're not shooting craps, I don't understand.
Yeah, really.
What are you doing with your
time? What are you doing at lunch?
Seriously.
Okay, well, writers love to hear stories. We love to hear poems. We love to hear songs. It inspires us to come up with our next thing. Mm-hmm. Your favorite one-liner or limerick?
My favorite one
that doesn't contain the word Nantucket. Be nice.
Okay. One-liner, do you mean like a quote, maybe?
A quote, yeah. What inspires you?
You know what? I'm going to go into the realm of Star Wars here, but I'm going to go into a realm of Star Wars that was more the novels that don't exist anymore.
We're sorry, Timothy.
Yes.
Tim, Kevin, we're sorry.
Tim's doing okay.
Tim's doing really good. He just got made canon.
Exactly. Thrawn.
Thrawn is now canon.
I was very happy for him for that.
Yes.
So in the novelization of Star Wars Episode 3, it was from Matthew Stover. It was a quote that really spoke to me, and it said, "The dark is generous, and it is patient, and it always wins." And it was just so profound, and I thought it was just this. And there's like this whole like poem that he writes that is like. So at the beginning, it starts off. It says, "The dark is generous," and he does the whole thing. And then like it's halfway through the book, he says, "The dark is generous and it is patient," and then he writes a whole thing. And then at the end, "The dark is generous and it is patient and it always wins." And that was like the lead into like the whole. Like I'm getting goosebumps just like thinking about it.
It is because more than just the universe of Star Wars, more than just the dark and the light. Generosity, patience,
yes,
perseverance. These are the things. This is how you win at life.
Darkness and light are a huge thing in Rosinanti. It's one of the main. The balance between dark, light, order, and chaos are probably the basic fundamentals of this book. It goes a lot beyond Boy Who Could Turn Into a Dragon. Yeah. It's basically like the point.
That was a 15-year-old's version.
Yeah.
Now
as a 32-year-old, the point that I try to make is that dark and light are not good or evil, because you can use the light for ill or you can use the dark for good, and it all is it's all in the mind of the beholder, and it's all in whether you're using the open palm or the closed fist. Whether if you're using the closed fist to defend, then it's good.
Well, and that's it, because the open palm or the closed fist are a part of me.
Yes.
So whether or not the dark or the light is good or evil is entirely dependent on the person wielding it and the motivation behind that and all of those things that are human. Because really the difference between climbing a tree or walking out of a cave and being a millennial human being is self-awareness, awareness of what dark is, what light is, and how to use it.
100%.
So, wow.
And that's why
and if you could do it with dragons,
yeah,
bonus, baby.
We try. But yeah, like that Matthew Stover's work in that Star Wars Episode 3 novelization, it spoke to me on such a level. Like I remember it was like whenever I'm feeling like my productivity is dwindling, I reread it.
Nice.
Or I listen to it on audiobook or something like that, and I just listen to Jonathan Davis do the audiobook, and it's stellar. It's unbelievably stellar. He's an absolute genius, Matthew Stover.
Wow, fantastic. Guys, that's Kevin's favorite book. We'll put it online. We'll put it down there.
Yeah,
go ahead and look. Click on over there. Check it out. We love to share our authors and our creators. We love to share Star Wars because, well,
that's Star Wars.
Anyway. And just check those things out. We loved sharing Star Wars. We got the interview on the show, Kevin Anderson and Tim Zahn.
Oh,
we got
great.
to interview Alan Dean Foster about that first book. And what an amazing group of guys.
I can't imagine.
And talk about the evolution of the world.
And you know, as an author, like somebody once asked me, like, well, what's your end game? Like, what are you hoping to accomplish in your life? I said, you know what? I could die a happy man if one day they're like, hey, Kev, write a Star Wars novel. Add to the universe, like
yeah, we'll do it now.
That would be the ultimate for me, more so than having
Disney, LucasArts.
Yeah, call us. Disney, I'm giving you a lot of free publicity over the years. So,
call. We're waiting. Where are you going to be next? Where are you headed to?
I am supposed to be over at Indie Book Fest in September, in Orlando. So
awesome.
I'm very excited.
Good deal. Lots of stuff coming down the road. We expect great things out of Rosinanti, because he was in Jay-Z when he did it. And we're going to have to wrap it up. That's my shut up card, so fine. Be that way. When we start having fun, she does that to me. We want to say a special thanks, though, before we go to, well, since we mentioned him during the episode, we'll give a great shout out to Kevin J. Anderson's Wordfire Press, the guys under the Barge Tower at every convention. You guys are great, and we love you for supporting us and all of our artists and our creators out here. The Florida Book News, Space Coast Comics, Famous Faces and Funnies, fantastic people over there. And Something Unique Magazine, our very first partner in what we do here, as well as our very most recent partner. We met right here, Yvonne Mason and the folks at the Off the Chain radio program on Blog Talk Radio. I'm GW Pomichter. We've been hanging with author Kevin J. Kessler, the creator of Rosinanti. Guys, check it out. While you're doing that online, subscribe here, log on, tune in, and see who we're hanging with next.
Thank you.
You're very welcome. Kevin, thank you.